The film begins by introducing a man named Meng Yun, who is currently 31 years old and still single, but he used to be a playboy. On the other hand, Meng Yun is now successful after founding a company with his college friend. One day, Meng Yun received a wedding invitation from one of his ex-girlfriends and decided to attend the event with his best friend, Yufei. Upon arriving at the venue, Meng Yun was surprised to see a special table prepared by his ex, with several men already seated there. Unexpectedly, these men were also ex-boyfriends of Meng Yun's ex-girlfriend. Seeing this, Meng Yun was surprised to learn that his ex-girlfriend was also a playgirl. Moreover, he was shocked to see that the table designated for the groom's ex-girlfriends was also quite crowded. During the event, a woman was seen sneaking in and attracting the attention of all the guests, including Meng Yun. The guests noticed her because she stood on the stage right in front of the bride. It was at that moment that Meng Yun suddenly fell in love with the woman named Xia Lu. Realizing that everyone was watching her, Xia Lu became embarrassed and sat at the special table for the groom's ex-girlfriends. All the women at that table assumed that Xia Lu was one of the groom's ex-girlfriends, although in reality, she was not. Meng Yun also briefly thought that Xia Lu was one of the groom's ex-girlfriends. But at that moment, Xia Lu quickly clarified that she was not one of the groom's ex-girlfriends. After the event ended, all the guests were invited to enjoy the food and drinks that had been prepared. However, at that time, one of the groom's ex-girlfriends started to get drunk and caused a commotion. Seeing the chaos, the ex-boyfriends of the bride also wanted to intervene and separate the women. Without thinking twice, Meng Yun ran to separate Xia Lu from the commotion, and in an instant, he successfully took Xia Lu away. After leaving the wedding venue, Xia Lu and Meng Yun ended up enjoying the night together in an apartment. The next day, Meng Yun thought that his love for Xia Lu was just a one-night stand, but he was wrong when he found that Xia Lu was still at his apartment. At that moment, Xia Lu was even seen preparing breakfast for them. Seeing this, Meng Yun began to realize that Xia Lu was the best woman for him, and they decided to start a relationship. In short, Meng Yun received a phone call from a female colleague at his company, asking him to return to work because he had been spending too much time enjoying himself with his new girlfriend. Knowing this, Meng Yun agreed and immediately returned to his city. Upon arriving at the airport, Meng Yun was picked up by a colleague from his company named Luo Qian, who came along with Yufei. At that moment, Meng Yun introduced his new girlfriend to both of them. After that, Luo Qian explained that they had an appointment with a client, so she asked Meng Yun to go with her immediately. Therefore, Luo Qian asked Yufei to take Xia Lu to Meng Yun's house. After that, Meng Yun and Luo Qian attended the meeting together. It turned out that they had been friends for 13 years, with Luo Qian being Meng Yun's college friend, and now they were colleagues. Not only that, Meng Yun owed a lot to Luo Qian because she had always helped him during difficult times. Luo Qian even quit her previous job to help Meng Yun develop his company to its current level of success. After the meeting, they managed to secure a business contract with a fairly large company. Meng Yun then started to tease Luo Qian, thinking that she intentionally interrupted his vacation. However, Luo Qian immediately refuted all of his words and felt sorry for his new girlfriend, as she thought that Meng Yun would likely toy with his new girlfriend. Hearing this, Meng Yun denied Luo Qian's words and stated that he was serious about this relationship. But Luo Qian, who did not believe his words, walked away. The next day, Meng Yun and Xia Lu visited Luo Qian's house, where he was shocked because there was a man he did not know in the house, but this man seemed very familiar with Luo Qian. After that, Luo Qian introduced the man to Meng Yun, revealing that the person was Zhao Ming. It turned out, Zhao Ming was very close to Luo Qian to the point that he considered her house like his own home, which naturally made Meng Yun suspicious. Not long after, Yufei arrived at Luo Qian's house, and Meng Yun quickly invited him to leave, using the excuse of buying beer. While outside, Meng Yun immediately asked Yufei about Zhao Ming and expressed his suspicions about their relationship. Hearing this, Yufei was shocked because Meng Yun suddenly asked about it, even though Zhao Ming was just an investor and their relationship was merely friendly. Now Yufei started to suspect Meng Yun and thought that he was jealous of their closeness. Meanwhile, Luo Qian and Xia Lu started to get closer, where they were looking through old photos of Meng Yun and Luo Qian. However, among those photos, there was one that wasn't shown, which made Xia Lu ask Luo Qian about it. Luo Qian then explained that she did not display that photo because the frame was broken. In reality, she hid the photo on purpose because she did not want Xia Lu to know that she and Meng Yun were once close. In fact, Luo Qian still had feelings for Meng Yun, but she did not dare to express them. Although she was jealous of the relationship between Xia Lu and Meng Yun, she continued to hide her feelings. Over time, the relationship between Meng Yun and Xia Lu grew closer. They were in a happy relationship. Until one day, Meng Yun met Yufei at a cafe, and he was puzzled by Meng Yun because he seemed very serious about his current relationship. Yufei knew that Meng Yun used to be a playboy, and all his relationships were short-lived, which made him skeptical about his love life. Additionally, Yufei began comparing Xia Lu with Luo Qian and mentioned that Luo Qian always gave Meng Yun a lot of freedom and that she was still single and focused on her career just for him. After that, Yufei also lamented that Meng Yun and Luo Qian had never been romantically involved because they always had partners. However, Meng Yun didn't make a big deal out of it because he knew his relationship with Luo Qian was only as friends. After that, Meng Yun received a call from Xia Lu, who wanted to meet him at the cafe. Shortly after, Xia Lu arrived with her friend named Qi Wang, and they started getting acquainted. Qi Wang was a close friend of Xia Lu and was currently single. Apparently, Xia Lu intended to set up Qi Wang with Yufei since they were both single. Knowing this, Yufei began to take an interest in Qi Wang, and they all ended up drinking at the cafe until they were drunk. The next day, Meng Yun tried to contact Yufei and heard a woman's voice nearby. Meng Yun immediately realized that Yufei had spent the night with Qi Wang, and he was happy to know that his friend also had a partner. Shortly afterward, Qi Wang arrived at Xia Lu's workplace, and she was surprised to see Qi Wang looking disheveled. After that, Xia Lu realized from Qi Wang's expression that she had spent the night with Yufei. While Xia Lu was talking to Qi Wang, she suddenly received a call from Meng Yun, who said that he would be picking her up soon because they planned to celebrate their 100-day anniversary. Knowing this, Xia Lu immediately asked Qi Wang to get ready to leave. At the same time, a wealthy Korean man named Park Eun-hoo, who was Xia Lu's ex-boyfriend, arrived at her workplace to see her. However, Xia Lu refused to meet him as they no longer had any relationship. Not long after, Meng Yun arrived and joined the conversation. Xia Lu then introduced him to Eun-hoo as her boyfriend. Shortly after, they celebrated their 100-day anniversary at a restaurant, where Meng Yun gave Xia Lu a photo album, which made her very happy. Unexpectedly, a woman approached them, who turned out to be Meng Yun's ex-girlfriend named Shangdan, and their relationship had lasted only for half a year. In the past, Shangdan lived extravagantly, which made Meng Yun's finances a mess while they were dating. Fortunately, they had now broken up. At that moment, Shangdan approached Meng Yun and mentioned that this restaurant used to be their dating spot. Hearing this, Meng Yun panicked because he wanted to protect Xia Lu's feelings. However, Xia Lu didn't appear angry and instead laughed at Meng Yun's panic. Before Shangdan left, she saw the photo album Meng Yun had given to Xia Lu and teased him for still using the same old way to win a woman's heart. Meng Yun then felt embarrassed and thought that Xia Lu would be angry at Shangdan's comments. But Xia Lu was not angry at all. The next day, Meng Yun shared his story with Yufei, while Xia Lu talked to Qi Wang. According to their best friends, Meng Yun and Xia Lu didn't really know each other well despite having been in a relationship for quite some time. Therefore, they received advice to share their past with each other. However, this advice seemed to cause trouble in their relationship, leading to complications and confusion. One night, Xia Lu became suspicious and wanted to know what was on Meng Yun's phone. But she didn't dare to ask directly. The next day, Xia Lu and Meng Yun sat together. At that moment, she mustered the courage to admit that she had checked Meng Yun's phone the previous night. Hearing this, Meng Yun said he didn't really mind and wasn't bothered because he wanted to earn Xia Lu's trust and show that he truly loved her. Hearing this, Xia Lu began to trust her boyfriend. She even offered to show the contents of her own phone. Hearing this, Meng Yun refused, saying he already trusted her. Not long after, Meng Yun's phone rang unexpectedly. To his surprise, it was a call from his ex-girlfriend, Meng Meng, who was an alcoholic. Meng Yun actually wanted to reject the call because he knew Meng Meng was likely drunk and that it would make Xia Lu jealous. However, Xia Lu suggested that he answer the call, so Meng Yun followed her advice. While Meng Yun was talking to the drunk Meng Meng, Xia Lu laughed. Meng then asked Meng Yun to stay on the phone with her until she got home. After talking on the phone for a while, Meng Yun felt relieved once his ex-girlfriend reached home and went back to sleep. But suddenly, Meng Yun and Xia Lu heard a commotion in the house. They both searched for the source of the noise and were shocked to find that Meng was already in Meng Yun's house. At that moment, Xia Lu became upset that Meng knew where their house was. Despite this, she remained kind and took care of Meng, who was drunk at the time. The next day, when Meng was about to leave, Xia Lu invited her to have breakfast together. After that, Meng Yun was surprised when he woke up to see Meng getting along with Xia Lu. He felt embarrassed and had no intention of eating with both of them. When Meng left, she told Meng Yun to take good care of Xia Lu. As she was leaving, Meng noticed the gift she had once given to Meng Yun, which he still kept. Seeing this, Xia Lu became annoyed and asked Meng Yun to throw away all the gifts from his ex-girlfriends that he still kept. After that, she also suggested to Meng Yun that they redecorate the apartment. Although Xia Lu seemed happy, Meng Yun was not so pleased, as the apartment was redecorated in pink. Several days later, Meng Yun shared with Yufei about his relationship with Xia Lu. However, Yufei only laughed at him and asked about Meng Yun's birthday plans. Meng Yun then expressed his desire to celebrate his birthday simply, fearing that if he had a big celebration, all his ex-girlfriends would show up. In the end, Meng Yun celebrated his birthday in a simple way with Xia Lu, Yufei, and Qiwang. However, Meng Yun felt bored because his birthday party was usually more lively, but this time it felt plain. At the same time, Xia Lu received a call from her office, asking her to come in. Xia Lu then asked Meng Yun for permission to leave, and because of this Meng Yun felt awkward because his girlfriend had to work while he was having fun. Therefore, he intended to end the party, but Xia Lu told him to continue. After that, Xia Lu and Qiwang went to the office, while Meng Yun and Yufei started to feel bored. But Yufei didn't want to waste Meng Yun's special day, so he planned to invite some friends over. Knowing this, Meng Yun suggested to Yufei to invite only their male friends so that Xia Lu wouldn't misunderstand later. Meanwhile at the office, Xia Lu was asked to come in to meet Hu, as he came there to discuss business matters at the company where Xia Lu worked. Additionally, Hu wanted to show off. After the discussion was over, Qiwang scolded Hu for ruining Meng Yun's and Xia Lu's special event. Hearing this, Hu apologized and offered to take them back to the event. When they arrived, Xia Lu was surprised to find the place had become crowded. Seeing Xia Lu and Qiwang return, Yufei explained that everyone there was a friend of Meng Yun. He also said that he had only invited male friends, but they ended up bringing their female friends. When Meng Yun realized that Xia Lu had returned, he immediately approached her and took the initiative to introduce her to his friends. However, Xia Lu became annoyed because the party included Meng Yun's ex-girlfriends. Nonetheless, Xia Lu tried to hide her irritation from him. Not long after, a birthday cake arrived, and Meng Yun thanked Xia Lu for the cake, but Xia Lu admitted that she had not ordered it. Hearing this, Meng Yun asked the waiter who had sent the cake, and the waiter said that the cake came from Hu in the next room. Upon hearing this, Meng Yun and the others immediately went to see Hu, who explained that the cake was a sign of apology for disrupting their event. Eventually, Meng Yun realized that Xia Lu had met Hu before and hadn't mentioned it to him. This made Meng Yun a little upset, but after seeing Hu's sincerity, Meng Yun invited him to join them. After that, Hu joined them. However, the party atmosphere became less enjoyable because all the women there focused their attention on Hu. This annoyed Meng Yun and his friends, and they planned to play a prank on him. Meng Yun then challenged Hu to a drinking contest, but it was him that lost and got drunk. Upon arriving home, Xia Lu and Meng Yun agreed and promised not to meet their exes again. The next day, while Meng Yun was at the office, he was surprised by the sudden arrival of Yufei, who told Meng Yun that his ex-girlfriend, Ling, had just been looking for him. It turned out, Ling was a very emotional woman, making Meng Yun's life feel like a drama while they were dating. Meng Yun actually didn't want to meet Ling, as he had promised not to see any of his exes again. However, Yufei suggested that he meet Ling, fearing that if he didn't, she might harm herself. In the end, Meng Yun decided to meet Ling, and they went to the cinema. However, Meng Yun suddenly received a message from Xia Lu. At that moment, Ling, who accidentally saw the message, immediately burst into tears, realizing that Meng Yun already had a girlfriend. She then left Meng Yun abruptly. When Meng Yun got home, Xia Lu found a movie ticket in his pocket and she became angry, knowing that Meng Yun had met his ex-girlfriend again. Xia Lu then ended up crying because Meng Yun kept breaking his promises. After that, Xia Lu felt that Meng Yun always lied to her and decided to call Eun-hoo as a way to get back at him. As she could no longer tolerate Meng Yun meeting his exes and wanted to end their relationship. Meng Yun then left the room, but without realizing it, the phone that Xia Lu was holding accidentally stayed connected to Eun-hoo, so he overheard the issue. Xia Lu asked Eun-hoo to accompany her at home. However, he didn't want to get close to Xia Lu to avoid ruining her relationship with Meng Yun. So, Eun-hoo only kept her company from a distance. Meanwhile, Meng Yun went to Luo Qian's house to calm down, and he ended up talking about his relationship. The next morning, Meng Yun returned to his apartment and saw Eun-hoo sleeping outside his room. Seeing this, Meng Yun woke him up and thanked him for looking after Xia Lu. Meng Yun then went to see Xia Lu to apologize for their previous argument. Xia Lu, who had calmed down, forgave him, and Meng Yun promised that they wouldn't hurt each other again. However, Xia Lu suddenly revealed that she was pregnant. Upon hearing this, Meng Yun immediately proposed marriage. The next day, Meng Yun began distributing wedding invitations, where he also gave an invitation to Luo Qian, and they started preparing for the wedding. Sometime later, Meng Yun received a call from Zhao Ming, who said that Luo Qian couldn't be reached and asked Meng Yun to go see her because he was out of town. Shortly after, Meng Yun went to Luo Qian's apartment and found that she was very depressed upon learning that Meng Yun was getting married soon. Not long after, Luo Qian eventually got engaged to Zhao Ming and gave a speech to all the guests. However, Luo Qian ended up confessing her feelings for Meng Yun, which made the situation even more complicated and sparked an argument between Xia Lu and Meng Yun. While arguing on a bridge, Xia Lu accidentally fell, and Meng Yun immediately took her to the hospital. Unfortunately, Xia Lu had a miscarriage, and after all these events, Xia Lu and Meng Yun agreed to end their relationship. A year later, Meng Yun met Luo Qian again, who was still married to Zhao Ming. Apparently, she wanted to meet because she had decided to leave Meng Yun's company and focus on being a good wife to Zhao Ming. After that, Meng Yun visited Yu Fei and Qi Wang, who were also married. Currently, Qi Wang was pregnant with their first child. At that moment, it seemed that Meng Yun still couldn't forget Xia Lu and kept thinking about her. The story came to an end. Moral lesson from the story: don't crash your ex's wedding if you're not ready for an unexpected reunion, because you might end up babysitting a drunk while falling for a stranger who's not even an ex.